But anyway, yes, every week I will be sending out a video just like this one. I'm just not going to require you to be present at 10 a.m., at 9 a.m. for Comp 1, 10 a.m. for English 079. I know some of you guys are having to, sit for 2 hours in front of your computer, and I don't want to jam you up like that. Also, I want to make myself a little bit more accessible to you. So every Monday during this hour, it's not like I won't be at my computer. I'm still going to be here, but I want to give you this hour back. If you understand what you're supposed to be doing, I want you to just be able to do your work and get further along, and you don't have to listen to me go on and on. You can watch my video, find out what's going on this week, and then just get it done. And then if you have questions for me, if you are like, you know what, I watched the video 5 times, or whatever, I've watched the video already, and I'm just not sure what exactly this one thing meant, or I've got a question about this or that. Well, during this hour on Mondays from now on, I'm just adding an additional time that I'll be on my office. Because Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 8 a.m., I understand that's a little early for some people. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do try to be available in my 2 o'clock hour. But I'm just trying to give you an extra hour. If you have specific questions for me, great. 10 a.m. is an additional hour. That hour, the 10 a.m. hour, I will be in my office every Monday, and I will be here if you have specific questions. If you don't, great. You can just do your work, enjoy your life. You don't have to be stuck at the library or wherever you might be stuck watching 2 hours of Zoom, which I know is not a whole lot of fun. So just basically, I'm trying to make this semester as painless as possible. I know we still have to write essays and we still have to do our homework and all that, but I want to give you as much as possible a painless and a good experience this semester. So having said that, next week I will not send out a Zoom invitation. You don't have to come at 10 or 9 and 10 o'clock to watch me on Zoom. I will on Monday, probably, I'm not sure, probably by Monday at 10 o'clock, I'll have both Comp 1 and Comp 2 for you, just ready to be watched on YouTube, and you can rewatch it. And then of course, if after you watch it, you have a question, pretty much all day Monday, I'm going to be in my office here for my students if you have questions. So having said that, let's talk about what's going on this week and last week. If you take a look at your schedule, let's go ahead and I will share my screen with you. Here we go. If you take a look at your schedule, we are in week 5. So big stuff going on. Last week, you did your journal, but you also did your peer review, and it looks really, really good. So it looked like everybody did a pretty good job of that. We're going to get ready to get into the next readings. And of course, I want you to really focus on your essays this week. But in this class, I do want you to read reading number 3 and do the critical reading activity for it. And I want you to start working on your summary number 3. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is instead of having to have summary number 3 completely done, I'll put that for next week, and then I'll update this and I'll send this out. So summary number 3 and peer review, I'm going to ask that you have that. You're going to have the summary number 3 done, and we're going to do peer review for that next week. And then you know what? This week I'm going to go ahead and add that I would like you to read both of the readings. Okay, so both of the readings I'd like you to read at some point this week. And on number 3, we're going to get started on that one. So I'd like you to do the critical reading guide. So that is the worksheet, and I'll show you that real quick just to remind you what that is. Remember it's in the content and assignments. You did those last time. the reading guide. So you're going to do the reading guide for reading number 3. Now, the question on your mind is, okay, what is reading number 3 going to be? Reading number 3 will be Love in the Age of Like. Okay, so to get Love in the Age of Like, you're going to go to the Comp 1 Blackboard page. And you already saw this in the other video, but you're going to go to the Essay 2 project materials. And you're going to go to the Essay, well, no, you're going to go to, where is it? Love in the Age of Like. So you'll click there, okay? Now, when you're doing your reading guide for Love in the Age of Like, you're going to have a lot of information, okay? You're going to know who the author is. You're going to know when it was published. You're going to know, you can look up Aziz Ansari and find out interesting facts about Aziz Ansari. So your reading guide will be a little bit more challenging this week than it has been in previous weeks. Also, hey, this is a longer article than what you read last time, okay? So let me give you a hint, and I'll give you just a big tip, okay, on how to make this work easily for you. I'm going to get my reading guide out, and let's see here. So getting my reading guide. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So this is approximately how I would recommend doing your reading guide this week for Love in the Age of Like. Okay. So, okay, who's the author and what is something interesting about the author? Okay. I'll leave that to you. You should find that out. That's pretty easy. Who is the author's intended audience? Well, you're going to read this and you're going to find out it's probably people who are interested in dating, probably people of your age, maybe older a little bit, but people who are single and who are looking for a dating opportunity. Then you're going to complete the introduction, like the online, the outline for the reading. Now, this is the tip that I'm going to give you to make it really easy for you. You're going to see, of course, in the introduction, he has an introduction. Let's see here. And basically is introducing the idea of marriage and of dating. And he does that talking about his parents, okay? So whenever you're filling this out, all you need to do for the introduction is to say, the author discusses how his parents met and how it's different from modern day, okay? And then when it comes to thesis statement, I want you to think about something in this first section, you know, this first section here. Let's see here. This would be this first section. Well, basically everything before where it says where bozos are studs, right? I want you to think about something in this area that is a claim that he's making that he backs up in his essay, okay? If you don't get it perfectly right, it's not the end of the world, but I want you to try to think about this. Most likely, it's going to be something here, you know, near the end of his introduction paragraphs. But I just want you to look and try to find something that it's like, what is the point that he's trying to make? Is there a sentence in here or a couple sentences that essentially is the point that he's trying to make in this reading? Okay, that's probably the thesis statement. What is his argument? What is his claim? Okay, that's what you're looking for there. And then you're going to go and you're going to see all these body paragraphs. Now here is the, where basically my tip for you to make this not necessarily easy, but doable, something that's a little easier. You're going to go and first of all, you're going to take a look. Look at they have subheaders, okay? Where bozos are studs. Soulmate versus laundry detergent. Let's see here. Passion and patience. And those are the four. Let's see, there's just one, let's see, two, I guess there's three. Is there just three? So there's just three subheaders. Well, those three subheaders essentially make up A, B, and C. Those are the big picture, the big general ideas. Now, the thing is, you're going to have to read these things and understand what it is they're discussing. Because if on A, you put where bozos are studs, that doesn't really tell me anything. That doesn't, I mean, as of right now, you've not read this. And if I say where bozos are studs, you don't know the point that he's trying to make in this little section, okay? So you need to say whenever you're filling this out, what is the main point that he's making in this section? And then you got your little A, B, and C. Well, okay, what are the details? What are some things that he brings up in that section that illustrates the point, the main point? Okay, again, you're going to need to read each section, right? But the nice thing is, okay, where bozos are studs, these paragraphs underneath that subheader, that is literally going to be A. Okay, so I need to understand, what is he saying in this section? Okay, is he saying that, and I'll give you a hint, he's talking about how people like, especially some of his guy friends, feel like they are way more attractive than they really are on the internet. They feel like they're way more attractive on the internet, and they feel like they can be pickier. Okay, and he gives some illustrations. He gives a story about how this one friend of his sees an online profile of a girl that he actually is very much compatible with, but there's one little thing wrong. So he's like, nah, I don't want to go out with this girl. And that would be, that little story would be something maybe I'd put for A, B, or C. Okay. But the main idea here is that when people use the internet for dating, the author believes that whenever the people use the internet for dating, they believe that they are more attractive, or when, like he says, they're more of a stud, right? They believe that they are more attractive, or I guess desirable, than maybe they really are. They believe they can be pickier than they really should be. Something like that. That's his main point. And then he gives in this section, he gives you little details, little stories, little things that he brings up that backs up that essential point. Great. Then you move on to the next point that he makes, soulmate versus laundry detergent. Okay, so you haven't read this yet. So, okay, what does that mean? Well, you're going to have to read it. You'll have to read this article to find out what he's talking about here. And this is something I'm not going to, tell you everything. So go ahead and read it. Get an idea of essentially what does he mean, and what is the point that he's making in this section. Okay, there's a lot of different paragraphs there, but overall, what is the point that he's making in this section? So you're going to read this essay section by section, and I recommend at the end of each section, go to the worksheet where you're going to do the reverse outline and really think it through section by section. That way you can focus one at a time. You don't get confused by the big picture, and you got section by section, okay? And that is how you're going to find A, B, and C. And then in each one of those, there's little points that are made. So you're going to have A, B, and C, possibly. You may not have all three of those for each section, okay? So, okay, so you do have some work in addition to what you got to do in Comp 1 this week, okay? It's Monday. You can handle this. I went ahead and I kind of throttled back what I was going to have you do. All I want you to do is read it and do this worksheet. And then, of course, we're getting ready we're going to use this in Essay 2. So you're going to have all that. And then, of course, you're going to answer the questions. Really, guys, I've been really impressed by the hard work you've put in. The vast majority of you guys really have put in really hard work. Some of you guys need to maybe think about it a little bit more, and maybe put a little bit more thought into these worksheets. But really, overall, I've seen some good work. So bravo for that. So you're going to fill out the rest of this, and literally, I'm just going to ask you to do that this week. Okay, so you're going to be working on your narrative essay and all the stuff for Comp 1, and then you have this to do for this class. Okay. In addition to that, the only other thing I'm going to have you do is your journal entry. Okay, so let's see here. We're in week 5. You're going to complete journal number 4. And then, of course, I would like you to start reading journal, or I'd like you to start reading reading number 4. And again, that's in your textbook. And again, you can find out what that reading is. It's on our, let's see, this isn't it. It's on our Comp 1 schedule. It's Growing Up Tethered. And that is in your textbook. Let's see here. Here we go. That is in your inquiry textbook. Okay, so the reader, so you just look in the table of contents, find that reading. It's another one that's kind of long. The first 2 are super short. The rest of the semester, I'm sorry, you'll have long readings. But we're not just doing it for the fun of it. We're doing it so that we can use it in these essays that are coming up. So I want you to read both of those by the end of the week. And then, or at least start on that second one. At least start on Growing Up Tethered. Make sure you're really focusing on Love in the Age of Like. Okay, really focus on that, and then just do your journal. Next week we'll figure out the other stuff. Next week we'll do the next reading, and then we'll have our peer reviews just like we did before on our summaries. Okay, having said that, the only other thing I'd like you to do, and this is not on here, but just so that you get points, make sure to hand in, if you go to our Blackboard page, our English 079 page, if you go to content and assignments, I do want you to hand in your summaries. And you don't have to, it's the same summaries 1 and 2 that you handed into Comp 1. Some of you guys already did this. Hand in those summaries. Yes, for all the summaries, you're going to hand them all in to Comp 1 and to English 079. Simply handing them in to English 079, you get 100%. You get all the points just for completing it. In Comp 1, I have to be nitpicky and I have to grade it. But I do want you to hand those in to English 079 just so that you get the credit for it. Okay, so make sure to hand in the summaries 1 and 2, if you haven't already done so, to English 079 sometime this week. And that way you're able to get the points for that. Okay, so let me review what we're doing this week in English 079. And of course, if you have questions for me, I am very happy to answer those questions. And I'd be happy to, because we are doing a live session today, you can put it in the text box and I'll answer it at the end of class, or you can always email me and we can do an office hour, or I can interact with you via email as well. It's up to you. Okay, so as a review, this week in English 079, you're going to read Love in the Age of Like. And again, that's available for you in the English 101 Blackboard in the Essay 2 folder. And what you're going to do is you're going to do the critical reading activity, which is another way of saying you're going to do the reading guide for it. And we discussed how to do that already. I'd like you to rewatch what we did if you have any questions on that. In addition to that, you're going to do journal entry number 4. Just make sure to get that in by the end of the week. You guys have been doing a great job on your journals, by the way. And then before the end of the week, make sure you hand in the summaries that you've already handed into Comp 1. You'll hand those in. Again, you go to content and assignment links, and it says hand in summaries here, and just hand them in. As soon as you hand them in, just say, hey, great, I've got all the points for those. I did a great job. Do a little pat yourself on the back. And as far as English 079 goes, you'll get all your points simply for handing those in. And they're worth 20 points a piece in this class. So not too shabby. Okay, so again, next week, I'm just going to be sending you a recorded video so that you know what to do for this class. And during this class hour, I'll be available if you have questions. You can always email me. We can go back and forth with emails. A lot of you guys have done a great job with that. Or if you really need to talk to me face-to-face, we can also do a Zoom call. I'm happy to do that as well during this hour. I just want to make myself a little bit more available to you just in case you need me. Okay. Now, since we are here together, does anybody have any questions over Comp 1 or English 079 before we finish today's class? I'm not seeing any questions. Again, you can always rewatch these videos. I try to keep it straight to the point so that it's not hard to rewatch. But the nice thing is you can always skip around in the videos and you can always watch certain parts over and over again. And then, of course, like I said, I'm trying to make myself more available to you. But most everybody, you guys are doing really well. I'll be looking forward to reading your essays this next week after you hand them in Comp 1. Again, now you only hand in your essay and your process stuff. That's only to Comp 1. But I'll be looking forward to reading what you wrote. All right, guys, if you don't have any questions for me, then I wish you a good day and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you guys in the next video and feel free to email me if you have questions. Thanks a lot.